Keely Hodgkinson's 1 minute 56 seconds and 33 milliseconds indoor 800-meter performance wasn't just fast. It was one of the most technically advanced middle-distance races ever run indoors. This wasn't only about endurance or courage. It was about physics, biomechanics, curve mastery, and efficiency under extreme speed. Today, we're breaking down why this run represents a new evolution in how elite athletes handle the most difficult part of the 800 meters, the bend. What made Keely Hodgkinson's performance historically special? Her time was not only a national record and world-leading mark, but also one of the fastest indoor 800-meter races ever recorded. Achieving this speed indoors is especially difficult because tighter curves increase mechanical resistance and energy cost. Why are indoor 800-meter races harder than outdoor ones? Indoor tracks have sharper bends and smaller radii. That forces athletes to generate more inward force to stay on the curve, which increases muscular strain and often causes runners to lose velocity. What is the apex of the curve in track running? The apex is the midpoint of the bend where directional change is greatest. This is where lateral forces peak, and where many runners lose momentum if their body alignment is inefficient. Why do runners slow down on corners? Because part of their force must be redirected sideways instead of fully forward. On a straight, nearly all force contributes to speed. On a curve, the athlete must also fight outward inertia while staying balanced. What physical force is responsible for the difficulty of cornering? The key requirement is centripetal force, which pulls the runner inward toward the curve's center. Without enough inward directed force, the body naturally wants to drift outward. What do people mean when they say centrifugal force in running? Centrifugal force is the outward sensation runners feel on a bend. Technically, it's an inertial effect, but biomechanically it represents the pressure athletes must resist when running fast around a curve. Why does speed make curves harder? Because centripetal force increases with the square of velocity. That means even small increases in speed create dramatically higher lateral demands, making elite cornering extremely difficult. How did Keely maintain speed while others lose it? She minimized unnecessary lateral movement. Her stride remained smooth, her posture stayed stable, and she preserved forward propulsion instead of wasting energy fighting the bend. What is meant by the hip-to-ankle power line? It describes the structural alignment from the hips through the knees down to the ankles. When this chain stays stable, force transfers efficiently into the track instead of leaking through joint collapse. Why is ankle stiffness so important on the curve? A stiff ankle acts like a spring. It prevents energy loss during ground contact, allowing the athlete to rebound quickly and maintain stride power even under lateral pressure. What happens when ankle stiffness is weak? The foot and lower leg absorb too much force, ground contact becomes longer, stride length shortens, and speed drops, especially on tight indoor bends. How does Keely stabilize her center of gravity on the curve? She keeps her pelvis level, her torso controlled, and her body stacked over the supporting leg. This reduces side-to-side sway and keeps her motion directed forward. Why do some competitors struggle with stride length on curves? Because lateral forces disrupt their mechanics. Many runners shorten their stride unconsciously to avoid slipping outward, which reduces speed and increases fatigue. What is lateral lean in curve running? Lateral lean is the inward tilt of the torso toward the center of the track. This helps align the runner's force vector to meet the centripetal demands of turning. Why was Keely's inward lean so efficient? Her lean was controlled and minimal, enough to stay inside the curve without over-tilting. This allowed her to corner tightly while keeping balance and stride rhythm. Why is too much lean inefficient? Over-leaning shifts the center of mass too far inward, forcing corrective movements and increasing muscular cost. Efficiency comes from the smallest lean that still maintains stability. How do her arms contribute to curve balance? Her arm carriage counterbalances hip rotation. The arms help prevent torso twisting, allowing her legs to apply force cleanly into the track. Why is arm control essential during peak acceleration? Because uncontrolled upper body rotation wastes energy. Stable arms create stability in the trunk, which improves leg drive and reduces sideways drift. How did Keely turn curve pressure into propulsion? Instead of resisting the curve, she used it like a loaded spring. Her posture and force direction allowed her to exit the bend with acceleration, not deceleration. What is the slingshot effect in track running? It's when an athlete uses the curve's inward resistance to generate momentum into the straight. Efficient runners exit the bend faster than they entered it. How does foot strike differ on the curve compared to the straight? On curves, the inside foot often lands slightly more medial, and forces must be directed both inward and forward. Keely adapts without disrupting her stride mechanics. What metabolic advantage does curve efficiency provide? Less wasted movement means less oxygen and anaerobic energy spent correcting posture. This saves critical energy for the final straight and finishing kick. Why is this performance a technical evolution, not just raw speed? Because it demonstrates biomechanical mastery under extreme speed. The record reflects physics efficiency, not just fitness. How will this affect middle-distance racing moving forward? Athletes will increasingly train curve-specific mechanics, lean control, ankle stiffness, stride preservation, and force vector efficiency, especially for indoor championships. Why does this set a new blueprint for the future? Because Hodgkinson proved that races can be won through physics optimization as much as through speed. The next era of 800-meter dominance will belong to athletes who master both. Finally, Keely Hodgkinson's 1 minute 56 seconds and 33 milliseconds was not simply a fast indoor race. It was a demonstration of physics, balance, biomechanical alignment, and curve mastery at the highest level ever seen. Her ability to maintain velocity through the bend, stabilize her kinetic chain, and convert lateral pressure into forward propulsion may redefine how the 800 meters is trained and raced heading into the upcoming seasons. This wasn't just a breakthrough in time. It was a breakthrough in track and field science. If you enjoyed this deep breakdown of elite performance and the hidden physics behind record-breaking speed, don't forget to share the video, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful sports science analysis.